Hey, good afternoon. This is Pete from FigLife.com, and today I'm going to look at a fig variety called Joualle Noire. And this is supposed to be a good tasting variety. It's one that I've never tried before. I'm growing it for the first time this year, and it has put on a lot of growth for me, but hasn't put out a lot of figs. But it did put out a couple that I think are getting close to being ripe right now. So let's go take a look at that fig tree now. Hey, good afternoon. Today I'm looking at my Joualle Noire tree, which is really grown like crazy. I mean, this is a giant tree. Considering that this is a first year tree, I think I rooted this as a cutting. Well, it's definitely first year tree, and I'm pretty sure I rooted this as a cutting rather than getting it as a rooted cutting. And look at this. Look at how big this thing has grown in 1 year. Hold on, let me step back here. This whole thing is Joualle Noire. That whole thing. So just a huge tree for 1 year growth. And I've gotten a couple figs here. Had a little trouble splitting on this. I've still got these outside. It's October 10th here in Northern Virginia. I brought some of the varieties inside that I was having trouble splitting with. So, you know, I wouldn't say this is a bad splitter, but I am getting a little bit of splitting here. And I had another fig that was about ripe, and it had split really bad and kind of spoiled. So I wasn't able to get that one. But this one, I think is pretty close to being ripe. Honestly, I would have liked to have left this on a little bit longer, but given that splitting that's occurring there, I want to go ahead and pick this. And I'm not getting any latex there, so I think you know, it's probably not perfectly ripened. It's probably not quite as ripe as I would have liked, but I think it's good enough. And given the splitting there, I think the decision to pick this is probably the right decision. So let me take this out of its bag. All right, so there we go. I got the Joualle Noire fig, and it just turned dark just maybe a day or two ago. It was still pretty green the other day. Let me get the weight on this. Sometimes I forget to weigh these things. 55 grams. All right. It's about a medium size there, medium weight. You can see clearly the splitting. This is one of the first two figs I've gotten off this tree. So pretty late in the season, but you can see the size of that tree. And sometimes trees will, especially at first, put a lot of energy into growing and not a lot of energy into putting out figs. And that can change as the tree matures. But that was certainly the case here with Joualle Noire. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that, but this is my first time trying this fig. So let me cut this open. Let me see what the inside looks like. All right, there's the inside. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty well ripened, I think. Hopefully it tastes pretty good. Again, it's my first time trying it. So let me go ahead and try this. All right. This up into quarters. Let me try this here. Joualle Noire. Good flavor. Yeah, nice berry flavor. Not a lot of sweetness. And I've been having this problem with a lot of figs, where the sweetness level that I was getting earlier in the season just isn't quite there now. And that's just because it's not as hot. I'm not getting as much sunlight. And so the figs just aren't quite as sweet as they used to be earlier in the season. But it does have a really nice berry flavor. And I think if this was ripening earlier in the season, it would be a little bit sweeter too. It's a pleasant tasting fig. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I just think with a little more sweetness. You know, that could be improved with a little more sweetness, and I think if it was a little bit earlier in the season, I would be getting a little more sweetness from that fig. And you know, my tree, again, right here, the tree, just being a first-year tree, probably ripening and putting a lot more energy into growth than fruit production. I think that's what's caused the fig to be this late. I think if it was a more mature tree, if it had not put so much energy into growing, it probably would have ripened fruit earlier, and then, you know, that fruit probably would have been a little sweeter too. So definitely a promising variety there, Joualle Noire. So hopefully, and it's kind of a new variety too, at least new to growers here. So I expect to hear more about this variety in the future. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe and check out my website, www.figlife.com. Thanks.